Welcome to the local tourism edition of Salga TV. In this episode, we take a short lift to visit a few tourist attractions. We also take a look at some of the hidden gems in South Africa. Tourism is one of the industries that have been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, it is also an industry with great potential to resuscitate our economy. Personally, I'm ready to clear up my schedule, to let my hair down and put up my feet at PPD Falls, Graskop Gorge or Makapans Valley. Let's take a look at what to expect in this month's episode. In the Vembe District Municipality, which is situated in the Limpopo province, we visit PPD Waterfalls. Then we stop over at the Waterberg District Municipality and take a tour of the Makapans Valley World Heritage Site. We also take a trip to Nhlanzeni District Municipality to spend some time at the Graskop Gorge. Let's take a look at the splendor that is PPD Waterfalls in Limpopo.
My name is Panorama Route from Tulamela Tourism Association, and we're at the PPD Waterfalls today. PPD has always had a historical value to the community because right where the waterfall is was an old reservoir. So it was a hub of sorts. And you can notice the flea markets, not as large as the ones in Chakuma, but they are basically based around the area. Before pre-COVID, we'd have a buzz of people coming in from all over Vembe, as well as Limpopo, to have braais, picnics, take pictures, or simply to go to sightseeing at the waterfalls. This is a mini forest in Venda, because we're closer to the Tate forest, which is larger than this. But this also provides a sort of safety place for people to have interactions in a more guarded space. People should come to PPD Waterfalls because of the diversity of the area. We have a conference center, we have the majestic waterfalls, and we have little nooks where people can just basically have picnics and braai areas in their own space while still being in a community of sorts. So I believe that is something that hasn't been tapped into a lot because of COVID. And because we're in nature, ecotourism is thriving right now. So I believe we could be at the forefront of that. Once COVID has cleared and everyone has been vaccinated, I believe one of the biggest things we need to look forward to is basically being in the same space. Having our lunches, our braais, our pool parties, weddings with a larger crowd. Basically the sense of community that we've always had in the area. Basically the village continues within PPD Waterfalls. And that's what I believe everyone should look forward to, the community coming together once again.
The Waterberg District Municipality is home to a World Heritage Site called the Makapans Valley. The site plays an important role in our understanding of human evolution. More so, the network of limestone caves has yielded thousands of fossil bones, including the early group of extinct primates. Let's learn more about this site and what can reinvigorate tourist interest.
This is Makapans Valley, and then you'll realize that in Limpopo we are boasting two heritage sites, which is of international status, which is Makapans Valley and Mapungubwe. This area, it was selected, it was enlisted in 1999 and submitted to UNESCO and declared in 2005 as a heritage site because it is very much unique. And it is the only cave, the only site in the whole of Southern Africa which encapsulates the unbroken sequence of human habitation. So you want to know anything about the early Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, and later Stone Age, and then this is the valley. So the valley has got all. When tourists come here, they normally come to see our caves. We have got about 72 caves here. Some of them are man-made, some are natural caves. This area, it is part of a Daung, cradle of humankind. There are humankinds in Pretoria and Daung in Northwest. So there are several sites. They are called, collectively known as the hominid sites of Southern Africa, because both of them have got the history about the origin of human beings. The whole world is coming here, is attracted here to come and see our cave, where human being originated. There are students who are coming in here to do some research, anthropologists, geologists, and then so different kinds of people. The valley has got all. It's a darling to most of the tourists.
I'm now joined by the Acting Chief Executive Officer of Brand South Africa, Ms. Thembile Ntombela, and she will be unpacking topics centered around tourism and its impact on economic development. Brand SA is at the helm of spearheading this initiative, with the theme being resuscitating the economy through tourism. Ms. Ntombela, welcome to Salga TV.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Getting straight into it, what is Brand SA's role in marketing South Africa's image on the continent and abroad?
Emeralda, you know, Brand South Africa as the official custodian of the nation brand. We are tasked with the mandate that is two-pronged. The one is inward looking, which speaks to our ability to mobilize South Africans and get them to rally behind the brand South Africa. And then there's an external focus that speaks to us profiling South Africa's competitiveness, the strengths, the capabilities, so that we can attract tourists and we can attract, inward FDI. So those are the two spear champion strategic outlook that we are pushing as Brand South Africa. And obviously one would imagine then that what does it mean for us in terms of the programs that we have? We do have programs that are geared towards positioning South Africa as a preferred investment destination of choice. We also have programs that speaks to South Africans through Play Your Part, where we are challenging South Africans to actually contribute towards a positive social change.
Now, in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, which affected the country's tourism industry quite hard, what has been Brand SA's response plan to market the country as a destination for tourism and investment?
COVID has almost forced every country. Most nation brands have had to rethink their strategies. They've had to refocus their strategies purely because the game has totally changed. From being able to be flexible to move from country A to country B, you cannot suddenly do that. So that has posed such a huge challenge, particularly for those countries whose sole income, whose sole economy is highly dependent on tourism. So we are quite, I would say, fortunate as South Africa because we do have a diversified economy. So yes, we agree that tourism is one of the major contributors to the GDP. However, if you really look at it and you dissect our economy in terms of the construct, we have strength almost in multi-dimensional pillars. I am talking about, within the wine industry, I'm talking about within the sports, within the creative arts, we are there, but also within the health fraternity, we have made inroads. So it's quite a nice, challenge for us as Brand South Africans and to say, how do we change the game plan? Part of our strategy is to reposition the brand. And what I mean by repositioning the brand is that for so many years, We have been associated with mining, with manufacturing, with agriculture. And suddenly we are saying from a brand association's point of view, let's now diversify. Let's talk about, the new news, because we are a country that inspires new ways. So how do we then profile those new and different ways? It's precisely through storytelling and through profiling. So our repositioning of the country, we are now fast tracking and focusing around innovation. COVID has forced us to think outside of the box, to be more creative, but also what's equally important is to be more in tune and in line with your identity as a country, which is important because yes, storms will come and they will go, but your identity will stand the test of time. And that is what we are encouraging as Brand South Africa with our stakeholders to say, hang on, we have a beautiful identity as a country. We have beautiful values. Let's anchor on those. Let's shape those. Let those things that we do best be the reasons to believe into this country. And that has been our messaging in the COVID days.
Speaking of game plans, how does domestic tourism play a vital role in saving the industry post-COVID? And what measures has Brand SA taken to market and promote domestic travel within the country?
What is important is to look at the dynamics of the country, the brand disablers. As I say, we're not only building a sector here, but we are also similarly building a brand, and that brand is South Africa. And that brand are our beautiful cities. We are building brand KZN, brand Cape Town, and so forth and so forth. So what is important is to understand the intricacies that are involved in building a brand. And one of those is really to make accessibility a key point, a key driver. So in the domestic market, there is a perception that exists that says, oh, well, because the disablers of the country are forcing us to be unemployed, there's high rates of unemployment, and as such, where will the spending power come from if people are unemployed? So for us, it is important then to stimulate that inward tourism or domestic tourism is to make sure that there's accessibility, there's equally affordability, there's actually an opportunity to promote experiences. So what it does, it needs you to be more in touch with your consumer to say, do you really understand what promotes or what ignites a need to take a holiday at home? And really, we need to tap into those multidimensional insights. And then from there, craft nice, compelling value proposition that will encourage South Africans to know South Africa. And we have been doing so and playing our own part through our program that we call Play Your Part. And you know that tourism in itself is driven by South African tourism as well as its agencies, including at a provincial as well as at a municipal level. What we have been doing as Brand South Africa is really to talk about, Travel Tuesdays and then encouraging citizens to explore the country. There's beautiful places to travel into. But for me, first, attend to those bottlenecks and those perceptions that exist. Because if actually you look at the reputation profile of many cities and of many countries, they speak to quality of life. So how far do we push the button when promoting tourism that we also link in the story of quality of life in South Africa, that, we are also we are a safe destination. But when we're talking to our people, we also need to get them to buy into the quality of life narrative. We need to get our people to buy into the fact that they are the brand ambassadors of this country. And to be a brand ambassador, you must live the brand fully. Living the brand fully means you must be empowered to know exactly what South African, what are the nice, attractive areas to go to so that you can be the voice of reason to a tourist tomorrow. Yes, there's COVID, but it's not also gloom. It all requires us to think outside the box and say, let us now invest in South Africa as South Africans.
Ms. Ntombela, thank you so much for joining us today on this discussion. Now, from this discussion, something tells me that Brand SA is perfectly positioned to lead South Africa to a brighter and better future. It looks like we have some interesting initiatives for our country's brand going forward. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I really, I think as a last point of measure is, for any country to be an admired destination, in our vision as an organization that is tasked with such a huge, mandate, we say we want to create a nation brand that inspires its people, and is admired globally. So it's important that the inspiration aspect has to be built inward, meaning this brand, we are building it and we are advocating that it be built inside out. Let's get these South Africans to be proud citizens. Let's get South Africans to be socially cohesive and be able to live with each other. And at the end of the day, we would have fixed almost 50%, I would think, of our challenges that are facing us as a nation. So I urge everyone to play their part and contribute towards touring South Africa, knowing South Africa, and living the brand.
Most definitely. Play your part, South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Graskop Gorge is a family-friendly site, centrally located on the Panorama Route in Mpumalanga. There are panoramic views and pristine forests to marvel at. The site has been further developed to provide family restaurants, shops, and outdoor activities, including the lift, the forest, big swing, and zip line. Let's have a look at this local tourist gem, which adds onto the countless precious sites that South Africa has to offer to tourists.
We are at the gorge right now, which is situated on the Panorama Route in Mpumalanga, in the small town of Graskop. It's one of the most beautiful scenic place you can ever think of in this face of the earth. And right now we are in the belly of the earth. We are almost 70 meters down the gorge as we speak right now. The most important thing is being able to interface man-made attractions with nature. And that's exactly what we have done here. Around the gorge, we've got 600 meters trails, elevated trails that you can take, which forms a circuit. And as you walk around that circuit, you are able to be introduced to the fauna and flora around this place. And there's interpretative boards that are going to tell you more about this area. And part of also what you can find here, we've got 2 restaurants in the place, and we've got a community market. We integrated them in the center, but also there's gift shops around here. So on its own, it is a destination on its own. It's a family-friendly destination. The families will love it, the kids will love it, the lovers will love it. We have been affected by COVID-19. We've seen a drop of visitors coming into our area. One of the good things that we've seen out of this lockdown, it was the appreciation of nature. And we've seen a whole lot of South Africans beginning to really appreciate the outdoors. And I think for us, we realize that it is a selling point where we can integrate all these activities and expand and to capture that hiking trail market, which especially comes from the concrete jungle of Gauteng. We've really seen a lot of Gauteng people coming down here, and all they wanted to do was to experience the scenery and the green of this gorge. My name is Oupa Pilane. I am the director and the co-founder of the Graskop Gorge Lift Company, and you are watching Salga TV.
This has been an exciting show which has highlighted the absolutely stunning array of travel destinations to visit and simply soak in the beauty and splendor of our beloved country, South Africa. I've never been a prouder citizen, deeply enriched in its encapsulating culture and traditions. Until next time, from me, your host, Meralda, umdazana wasbanyoni, nisalega mnandi.